Welcome back. It's commodities time now, and top on the list is yesterday's inflation from the United States and how it would affect the world. We have joining us for that conversation Bolanle Agbaje, senior analyst with Financial Derivatives Company. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Hi.
So 3.7%, good, bad?
It's not necessarily great. Nobody likes high inflation. It's still way above their target of 2%. But what this informs is what the Fed will do next week, and I think that's what has direct impact on oil prices. So you have a certain percentage, more than half of analysts that do expect that the Fed would maintain status quo but still remain hawkish in their outlook. But some others also expect that there will be a hike. So it would be nice to wait and watch. And even if there is no hike in this month, there will definitely be a hike before the year ends.
I thought it said, it might also spill to the next month, also as in the pausing in hike if we have this rate.
Well, if inflation keeps climbing in the US, then I don't think, because you have more hawkish policy makers within the Fed than, because everyone right now is trying to battle inflation. There's no tolerance to inflation rates at above, the target of 2%. Trying to get the economy back to those levels is what, the Fed is their ultimate goal anyways.
And why should we concern ourselves with this?
Well, obviously, if the U.S. increases in interest rates, you have more capital flight towards that region, and it's not what we like at the moment because we're trying to attract as much investment as we can. That's one. And also, when you're looking at oil prices, we're already seeing oil prices at about $92 per barrel. So obviously, make it even more expensive to buy oil or purchase oil, and that obviously means that prices would go up. So on one hand, it's bad for us. On the other hand, it's quite great in a case where we have oil prices even trading up to about $100 per barrel.
Yeah, and there's been a worry around our production.
Yes.
Our production was down more than almost 500,000
Yeah, like I
barrels.
mentioned, it's just slightly above 1 million barrels per day.
Yeah,
and 1.1, yes.
Yeah.
And that's the month of July. So we expect that hopefully the August numbers are slightly better. Obviously, we don't know what the production levels were like in August, if there was still pipeline vandalism, oil theft and all that. Although we know that that's still going on, but we hope that the rate at which that is happening is reducing gradually. But I know that the government is trying to work, tirelessly to make sure that...
I'm just imagining I know the CBN did say that there was about $2 million addition to our reserve, foreign reserve. So imagine if we're able to even optimize this $90 a barrel.
It will definitely help every aspect of our economy regarding obviously our reserves, and also looking for ways that we can fund other infrastructural projects and also the FX issue that has been driving all aspects of the economy down.
Yeah, that FX is really a big problem for us because airlines
blocked funds and all that.
And the FTSE Russell downgraded our NGX to like junk.
Exactly,
because of
that. But it's not set in stone in that sense. Once you have that, if you're able to pick up your economy, it will definitely be reviewed.
How do we pick up?
It's been more than 100 days with the new administration, so hopefully it's still a short time. Let's see, we still have 4 years to go. Let's see what would happen before.
Yeah, well, we do know that it's not about this administration. It's what the administration obviously meant.
What they're planting, and it also depends on what they're planting at the moment, and see what we can reap from that going forward. But exchange rate is not doing great. It also speaks to our inflation numbers. We currently forecast that our inflation would obviously keep going up to about 25.47%, and that's just because all of those issues still remain, the exchange rate problems, the fact that a lot of our commodities, or whatever that we purchase in Nigeria, still has a very high import content, and obviously logistics issues as well, higher oil prices, all of that still plays within the economy. So we're not really out of the woods right now. So in any way, not a chance. And it also speaks to our own MPC meeting as well.
Yeah, whether that's on the 25th.
Yes, and we expect that they will definitely maintain their hawkish stance.
So more hikes, higher interest rates.
Yes.
And a bank still going home with the gain. and all of that.
It's nice for them at the moment. Going forward, hopefully, if once the economy is able to find its footing, those that are gaining significantly can be spread across other. Yes.
All right, and then the strike in Australia is still a problem for gas.
Yes, it's still ongoing. Although we're not seeing significant hike in LNG prices, and that's just because that huge demand that we had seen last year is still not there. Well, you can attribute that to warmer than expected winters and the fact that, at that time, there was huge demand across all board. But right now, everybody's trying to stabilize. And also, consumer income is really squeezed. So that is not, allowing LNG prices skyrocket as much.
Yeah, and we hear that in EU or Germany, I think specifically, they have their store about 90%.
Exactly.
For the winter.
So they're not looking to buy in as much more.
All right. So what else is happening? Cocoa quality lowered by
rainfall. It's quite sad because in the past 2 weeks we've seen cocoa prices increase by about $200 dollars per metric ton, and that's huge. And it doesn't seem like we were able to gain much from it. Some reporters that were part of the Cocoa Association Board of Nigeria did mention the fact that Edo State in particular, which contributes hugely to the total cocoa production, is still facing issues. In fact, just generally across all board, we're seeing heavier rainfalls, which is not good for our harvest season that we're currently in. Harvest season currently runs from about September till about January, February, but they do expect that it will be extended till March. The moisture content right now in all the cocoa pods is about 12 to 14%, and the standard, in the international standard, is currently at about 7%. So it increases the risk of black pods disease, and that's not necessarily great for us benefiting from that increased higher prices that we're seeing. Cocoa prices are now at about 3,700. Ivory Coast, Ghana, although they are also experiencing low supply, but they stand to gain huge from that, increase in price.
Yeah, isn't it sad that areas where we're supposed to be making progress or getting a lot of revenue, we talk of gas, we cannot maximize it, we talk of oil,
lack of infrastructure, because right now artificial drying would have come into place and helped to save some of this supply or our harvest, but that's not the case at the moment. We're still heavily reliant on sun drying, and there hasn't been sun. In fact, this whole week there hasn't been any sun. So
sometimes when we see the rain or we see sun or whatever we see, at the back of our minds we don't relate it to the economy or at the larger part. Sometimes you think it's just affecting you, but you forget that your income and my income and the other person affects the general GDP, the revenue at the end. When we talk about inflation numbers, is what we are going through.
Yeah, so that's just simply called the multiplier effect. So that, especially the negative multiplier effect, it spreads widely. Like the positive ones, it takes time, but it seems like those negative ones really affects the economy significantly.
Well, thank you so much, Abolanle Agbaje, for your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.